Hello and welcome to Amateur Hour, the official podcast of Amateur Mastermind Productions. Each week, a few young creatives get together to talk about whatever it is young creatives talk about. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Messina, the Dave Batista of the group. To my immediate left is, the John Cena of the group.
Oh, okay.
Richard
That's pretty
Chow.
good.
And to my farther left, my other left, we have the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson of
Yes.
the group.
Okay.
I love that.
Darren.
Darren's been doing jujitsu, so I guess that counts.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't do jiu-jitsu, but he's still
Nah, but just take people down.
wrestling. Yeah.
Just take people down, bro.
Guys. Yeah.
I chose them because they're all ex-wrestlers who went on to acting, and now they all have super roles or superhero, supervillain roles.
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I was trying to follow the trend, and I was like, okay, John Cena. Okay. I kind of figured it was gonna be like The Rock next.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Although The Rock had his rap video come out.
Rap video?
Yeah, with Strange Music, Tech Nine is the other rapper, the major rapper.
I had
who
no
was
clue.
Really?
on the track. Yeah,
Wow.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
No, I
Well,
did
what
not.
does this rapping even sound like?
I mean, burly.
Burly?
That's so
He's like,
funny.
yo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
man.
okay.
What's up?
Yeah, I mean, if you're into hip hop and you've heard of Tech Nine, you know he's kind of like Eminem, but maybe a little bit cringier, a little bit more like rap rock juvenile version of Eminem.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that dude Tech Nine had a lot of influence or helped Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson write his verse. And I think that's why I don't really like it. Because like Dwayne Johnson has a good voice. He knows how to perform. He can actually sing. He had the song Moana.
Yeah,
So
right.
we know
Exactly.
he can deliver.
Yeah.
It's just the track he was on. I really wasn't feeling it.
Mhm.
But good for him, I guess, for being in a rap video.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it was a throwback to like the 80s or in the 90s?
No, because I listened to a lot of
Okay.
Tech Nine music back in the day. Back when I liked that kind of cringy, it's very like angsty middle school vibes.
Okay,
kind
got
of
you.
Okay.
to that music, and
Yeah.
just never grew out of that phase in terms of music. That label did not, but that's all right.
It's pretty cool. So he's a part of it. So it's like Feet,
Yeah,
The Rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beat Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he finished the music video, and his verse is the last thing, and then the music cuts out.
Gosh,
And then he's
really?
like, "Yo, that was so like badass. Here's my cool one-liners." Then he goes, "One take," and I'm like, "There's no way you recorded one take and then walked out of the studio."
Yeah.
Oh my
That's a
gosh.
weird flex brag to put on people. Because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
also the music video is cutting between different performance takes, so
Mhm.
very obviously you needed at least 2 takes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
did it feel like clout chasing almost by his words?
I guess. I mean,
Okay.
I got what he was going for. It's
Yeah.
almost.
Do you remember any of the lines?
that? Oh, man, I don't even want.
He's like, I don't
It
want
got
to
better
remember.
as
He's
the
like, the
first line.
facts
Dude,
that
I don't know why. I feel like
remember
we should
it.
like react to this
We
right now.
will
Yeah.
react.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd make it through, but
Oh my gosh.
like
So it was a music video too.
there was a music video. Yeah.
Oh,
I think he's
okay.
only in the part with his verse on it. But
Yeah.
that one take really got me. That makes me laugh every time whenever he says it. Because even there's
Yeah.
a Kendrick Lamar song called Rigor Mortis, and
Mhm.
when it starts, it's Kendrick Lamar ad-libbing like stuff that he just says in the booth before he raps.
Mhm.
And even then, Kendrick's saying, "Okay, third take." Even he doesn't have the audacity to say first take, one take, as if anyone would believe any professional recording artist would go into the booth and only record it once.
Yeah.
Unless you're Eminem.
Unless you're Sheck West. No.
Or Eminem.
Or Eminem.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my The Rock rant. But I also wanted to give a shout out to the Story Break podcast.
Mhm.
That was a really important one for me. That's a movie screenwriting podcast. That was from the Rocket Jump guys on YouTube, or the Freddie
Oh,
W guys,
okay,
who I really
cool.
like. They just ended their podcast like 2 weeks ago.
Ended like.
Ended.
No
Wow.
way. They're not doing it anymore?
Nope, that's
What?
it. And that was pretty instrumental for me going through screenwriting. I feel like I've always been a writer and a story person, but
Mhm.
listening to that podcast where they kind of just dick around and write fun screenwriting outlines for
Mhm.
crazy ideas,
Yeah.
hearing that every single week is what sort of pushed me to kind of be like, if they can make this dumbass movie work in an hour, I can
Mhm.
definitely sit down and write something that's competent, at least from start to finish.
Wow.
In a
that
short
was-
amount of time.
was
Yeah.
pretty big
Yeah.
for me, yeah.
Wow. And no more.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
sad.
to that
How long
shit.
did that podcast run for?
I remember I hopped on very early for it, within the first year that it started, and
Mhm.
that was in high school. late high school for me.
Wow.
So at
Wow.
least 5-ish years, I want to say.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. They have well over
And-
100,
and-
maybe 200 episodes, something like
And
that.
who are the hosts for?
It was Freddie W., who's the main
Okay.
guy from the channel. Matt Arnold, who does most of the co-directing for him for the bigger projects.
Yeah,
and then this
yeah.
guy, Will Campos, who's the lead writer over there.
Oh,
at
okay,
the
that's dope.
studio.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes, so rest in
Crazy.
peace to them.
So what is Freddie W doing now?
Now, so I actually texted you guys a while back. I'm like, I feel like if we want to be doing feature-length films, we should just make a feature-length film. And that's because that was
Yeah.
their logic. So
Mm-hmm.
they have, a gajillion different YouTube views and, top 100 podcasts. And Storybreak is another really popular podcast they do because they do another D&D podcast that blew up.
Yeah.
They have all these awesome success stories, but they still can't really break into mainstream Hollywood. So they said, okay, if we want to make feature films, we just have to make a feature film on our own, and that's really the only way to get attention. It doesn't matter what we do on YouTube or podcast or whatever. So that's kind of why they're stopping the podcast, mainly.
And they're
is
doing
to go and
feature
actually,
films.
do a feature film
Wow.
on their own, pretty much.
It's pretty cool. Yeah,
so
I
that I'm
remember.
excited.
Yeah, Corridor and Freddie W had this whole conversation about, I guess, breaking into the mainstream media, right, and how difficult it was. And it's crazy because they know people in Hollywood already. They have those connections. Like, Corridor just did an episode with Seth Rogen like a little bit ago, and then that was all like CGI and all this stuff. And they're really, really great with a bunch of stuntmen like Guy De Silva. He's like huge in the industry right now in the stunt community. And it's crazy how they still can't break in completely into the Hollywood circle, so yeah, really interesting perspective. They haven't made a feature length. I don't know if they did yet, right?
No, they have long projects.
Yeah, they have series, they have,
exactly.
shows, little things here and there. I think they were on Hulu for a little, right?
Yeah, they had a
For
Hulu
some
show.
stuff, yeah, but they still weren't able to break into the feature length
Right.
side, so
Just gotta do it on your own.
yeah, it's interesting though to see that.
Yeah, I feel like it's not. It's never like something to be taken for granted. It's just not like that simple.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to me though. Like when I was hearing you guys like talk about breaking into the mainstream media part, I was thinking like who are the people who predecessed that? Who are the people who were not part of mainstream media who became part of mainstream media, and how did they get there?
Yeah.
And like I couldn't help but think of I think like Tori Kelly as one of them, who like basically started on YouTube and then like kind of became big. But then in my brain I'm just like, how did that happen? Like who did she know, right? That thrusted her.
Because she
into that
went through
limelight?
American Idol, did she?
She
I don't remember who
she
this
went through
is.
American
I remember
Idol,
Simon Cowell doing something with Tori Kelly or saying
but that was
something
like
about
really long ago.
it. Yeah,
It wasn't until recently that she became like big, like really big in the industry.
I think American Idol rejected her. I forget.
I think so too.
Yeah, something like that happened.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know specifically.
Same
but,
with like who else was it? Who's like the country singer girl?
Not Taylor
the country
Swift.
singer girl. Who?
Yeah, not Taylor Swift. The other one. She was also on like a show.
Kelly
I
Clarkson.
want to say
Very
Kelly Clarkson,
unbelievable.
but then at the same time, I know it's not Kelly Clarkson.
Okay.
So then we probably shouldn't say.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
So someone else got rejected from a show.
Yes,
Yeah.
they all got rejected from the show, and then they all made it really big.
Big?
So
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, there's also like other other YouTube people. I mean, like right off the bat, I know maybe he was part of mainstream to some degree, but like Simu Liu, like
yeah,
like one of those like situations.
he did some stuff with Wong Fu and
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like he
yeah.
did stuff with Wong Fu. So then my first interaction with him, like interaction as in a consumer of his like work, was through Wong Fu. So it's just like automatically I'm thinking YouTuber. And maybe he's not a YouTuber, but in my brain I'm just like he's a YouTuber.
Yeah.
And that's how I know him. But then like obviously he did, with Marvel, and he did Shang-Chi and everything.
Did
So
some stock photo shoots.
yeah, did some stock photo
Yeah.
shoots. He had some deadlifts. And
Did you guys hear about the whole Harry Styles in the MCU now?
wait, what?
Yeah, he's in Eternals now.
Oh no, I did hear about that. I think it was on their poster, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. Now he's in the MCU.
I mean, Gemma, shoot. Is
Gemma
it
Chan?
Is it
Yeah,
Gemma Chan?
yeah,
Yeah,
Gemma
Gemma
Chan.
Chan's in there too, right?
Yeah,
I'm not going
she
crazy?
is.
Okay,
Yeah,
I thought I was going
Angelina
crazy for a
Jolie's in
second.
there. Gemma Chan, Salma Hayek,
Yeah.
whole bunch of them.
I mean, it's just a bunch of big names.
yeah.
I don't know why Angelina Jolie in there makes me wildly uncomfortable.
Same.
Really?
A little
Yeah.
bit. I get confused.
I feel
Just
like
slightly.
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie is such Hollywood star power of the kind of older guard, not old guard, she's not old, but
Yeah.
she was so established before Marvel came to,
Mm-hmm.
and now Marvel comes to, and it's kind of still nerdy. I mean, it's super mainstream, of course, at this point, but it's still comic books. Like, it shows up at Comic Con.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with Angelina Jolie, it just is weird to me. It
Yeah.
seems so separate, and now she's in one of these films. Part of me is also like,
It's like if Matt Damon like showed up in a Marvel film.
He was in Thor for a little
No,
bit.
I know.
Yeah.
For a little bit.
Yeah,
exactly.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
And not for anything, but that's another guy. Like, he came up in Kevin Smith films. Same thing with Ben Affleck, who's now playing Batman.
Right,
He came up in Kevin Smith films. It was the poster child for comic book fans in Hollywood before it was cool to be a comic book fan.
Yeah.
So even that makes a little more sense. The reason he cameoed as a theater actor playing Loki is because he played a version of Loki before the MCU.
Oh,
so
yeah.
There's a connection there.
Yeah.
Then Angelina Jolie, part of me is also thinking kind of like this exclusive, in a toxic way, nerdy fan club where didn't really need you back then. Why do we need you now? It took how many movies for you to get interested in, how many dollars for you to be interested in this franchise, and now you want in? That's me talking totally out of my butt.
I
don't
do
know if any
feel
of that's
like
true.
Marvel was looking for not really A-list actors at the very start of it. You know, I feel like they wanted the actors that they chose to come up with that character and really grow into that character. So people, you know, who didn't know them previously now know them as this character. So
that's what I appreciated about it.
Yeah.
Like what I loved was that they were just like right from the get-go they just said, we don't care how big or how small you are. We just want to know that the character fits you. Yeah, and I mean, look at Tom Holland. Like, Like, I mean, like, nobody knew who he was beforehand. He literally went to school at Bronx High School of Sciences in New York City, where my friends went to at the same time.
Nobody knew.
Nobody knew. Nobody
him.
knew.
Yeah.
And then he suddenly appears on the big screen as Spider-Man. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, I saw him in my class."
Yeah.
Like, this kid was sitting next to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen those Avatar memes of Zuko? He went undercover halfway through the show, and he's, "Oh, I'm not Zuko. I'm Lee from the tea shop."
Lee from the.
And then at the end of the show, he gets he turns into the Fire Lord. He's like a world leader, right?
Yeah.
So then the meme is that the people who knew him as Lee from the tea shop see him as a Fire Lord now.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, it's Lee from the tea shop. He's the Fire Lord.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Love it.
Yeah. No, but yeah. So like, those are one of those like situations where I'm just like, I appreciate that because I don't think I care. Not that I don't care about like the actors and actresses that like, right?
Yeah.
Denzel Washington, by the way. But anyways,
Yeah.
no,
great.
like, yeah, I think I care more about whether this actor or actress could really fit that role and kind of hits that role on the head.
Yeah.
That's like what I care more about, or like if they will become like that character. So when like
I think we keep thinking Tony Stark. Like,
I just said it. Yeah, like when Tony Stark came about, I was like, I cannot separate him from Robert Downey Jr. There is no like way, like physical or possible.
He's like,
mental
now
way.
Doolittle. Like, no, you're not.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes was kind of Tony Starkish though.
It was.
When I watched his version of
like
when I watched his version of Sherlock Holmes, I could not help but just automatically think Tony Stark, just in a different era. I'm not joking, and like in a different like story.
The only person I felt like had that real following was like Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't know.
Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock Holmes also fit though.
Yeah.
But then the thing is, he was Doctor Strange.
Yeah, he was also Doctor
Strange.
Strange.
So then, like automatically too in my brain, I'm thinking, well, this guy is like smart in both characters, and his character, like, although, I mean, he's quirky in both characters. Like both characters, he's kind of quirky. I know they set him up to be like this, like a-hole doctor and who didn't really care, and then he was like super arrogant, but like, I mean, his character turned out to how his character turned out, so I'm looking forward to it.
It just reminds me of when they chose Loki and Thor. They casted both of them, and they released an article talking about how that they were like just, you know, random actors that they chose. Like nobody knew them before then, everything. And actually Loki like auditioned for Thor too, right? I don't know if you guys heard about that too, right?
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he did, right?
Yeah, his first audition was for Thor, and it's so funny to like watch that back because he had like the blonde hair and he was trying to bulk up. right? And then they were like, no, this doesn't work. And then they were like, but you know who you'd be great for? Loki.
They were right.
And then he was like, oh, okay.
He was such a
great.
good Loki.
Yeah, he's like fits Loki so perfectly. Yeah, he has something about him that's not like it's just not that Thor
It's
vibe.
mischievous.
Yeah.
He has like a very mischievous vibe. Like
I
he
just
kind of
find
gives
Loki
me
a
to
little bit more
smile.
interesting. In some
Even Tom Hiddleston in
points,
general.
yeah.
I know he's like really friendly in real life, I guess is what most people say.
Yeah.
But I also still feel like every time I see his smile, I'm just like, he's up to something. Like as a joke, you know. He's like he's like maybe playing a prank on a friend or something. Like I can't help it.
He goes to shake your hand. You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You're up to something, aren't you? He gets really offended.
It's the shocking gum.
I think a lot of those Marvel actors, some of them were pretty established though. Even Robert Downey Jr. himself.
He had some stuff going on.
Yeah,
I know he
years
did.
ago.
He did a movie playing Charlie Chaplin, right? That's what I remember.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
Robert
he
Downey
had
Jr.
a lot of other works when he was younger. He had a lot of other works. Like
Yeah.
he definitely had like his,
I just
he
know
already
that
had
was
a career.
that was his first one back after he like kind of fell off the radar, and he came back as Tony Stark,
Kiss
right?
Kiss Bang Bang might have been right before Iron Man, I think.
Was it?
I think it predated Iron Man. But that was
Okay.
kind of the same.
He did look really young in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah, and that was another similar snarky kind of a
Vibe.
hotshot character. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's because he had his old alcohol or drug abuse problem.
Man, I just remember Val Kilmer from from Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Oh man,
He was
so different.
awesome Shane Black film. Highly recommend if you haven't seen it. Val Kilmer, who played Batman, and then Robert Downey Jr., who would go on to play Iron Man.
Yeah,
Acting together in this buddy cop action, cold case.
they're both very, very good at that whole sarcastic kind of back and forth banter.
Yeah,
especially Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer was more Robert Downey Jr. than Robert Downey Jr. was in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I don't know.
No, he was
It's
subdued
weird.
in Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And that's the characters they were playing.
Yeah,
Those were
definitely.
the parts that they had to play.
Definitely. Yeah.
But I mean, regardless of how big they are, I feel like Marvel casted based less on like, I mean, obviously they used to know who they were, but less on like you're an A-list actor, and more on like you as an A-list actor fit this role really, really, really well. So we'll get you no matter what.
Yeah.
It's like one of those. I feel like it's one of those situations. Like, but when I look at Justice League, and I know a lot of people will agree with me, it's just like, man, it just feels like they just.
Doesn't feel the same, yeah.
Yeah, they just went. Well, he's a name. This person's the name. Take Gal Gadot.
I thought Gal Gadot was pretty good as Wonder Woman.
She was really good as Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
That
Ben
definitely is
Affleck,
true.
he was not too bad. Henry Cavill's like pretty iconic though as Superman.
I will say.
Yeah.
No, it's just what happened. Like, who sat in the room when they decided to put them together? Them as separate like movies and superheroes or whatever. Makes sense.
The Justice League, yeah. I felt like that first cut was just definitely not great and not memorable at all because I don't even remember seeing any of it. And I went back and watched the Snyder cut, and I was like, "This was in the first one, really?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?" Yeah. So that was a 4-hour-long movie.
I remember thinking when the Nolan trilogy came out for Batman, I thought, oh, okay, this is going to be the pattern where they're going to do 3 more adult-style superhero films. They're going to do a standalone trilogy for each character, and each one is going to have a different name centered around different nicknames for the same character. So I figured, they called Batman Begins, and then they had one called The Dark Knight. So then for Man of Steel coming out, I thought, Man of Steel is the first of a Superman trilogy, and it's going to be all adult-themed and nuanced and artsy.
Yeah.
And then after Man of Steel could be Man of Tomorrow. Then after Man of Tomorrow, they call the third one Last Son of Krypton or something like that, which are all Superman nicknames. And then that obviously didn't happen.
Yeah.
Less money in that. But DC's been really good with those RC standalone. Obviously Joker was...
No, they're
really
standalone,
but like
their standalones were really good. Like I think Joker was a statement. Less so of like I loved this movie. This was super, like Iron Man coming out. That was like literally every child's dream at that point.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was
you
like,
saw
boom.
that, you watched it, you bought it on Blu-ray.
Yeah, you would literally rewatch it. You would watch it again. You would then watch it again.
It's crazy looking back though. The special effects and everything looked so good. The suit like
I still can't believe it's 2008. That was 2008.
Yeah.
That was.
To be honest, I actually kind of like the the first Iron Man suit transformation more than the nanotech. I don't know. The nanotech was cool,
Yeah.
but it was like
The
it was like
nanotech
a lot of
was-
stuff you couldn't see.
The nanotech
You
was
know?
like you almost felt like it was like genuine CGI.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then when like the first like couple of transformations for like the Iron Man suit being taken off, people make compilations of this, by the way, like on
Yeah.
YouTube. Like it was like mechanical. Like you
Yeah.
you know it's
That's
CGI.
how
You know
made
CGI.
it, when people take the time to make YouTube compilations of it.
Of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
literally. Yeah,
Because
they have compilations of
nanotech,
suit
it
changes.
looks. I mean, I feel like people have seen that before, where things like morph into it
Yeah.
and then kind of just like fade into like something else. Like I feel like people have seen that transition before. But with the mechanical thing, it's like, wow, it's so detailed because you have those screws and then they're turning, and then you have like something else that's coming apart, and then it's like coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also
it's just
can't
very
overdo it,
satisfying
because
to
when you
watch.
overdo all those mechanical parts, then you
Yeah.
get the Michael Bay Transformers designs, which look
Oh my gosh,
cool,
yeah.
but they're
Oh, yeah,
poorly
yeah.
designed. There's
Yeah.
nowhere to rest your eye. It's just all
It's just all
gears and
craziness.
pipes and
Yeah,
crap.
I don't know. They need to hire some kind of I don't know, art designer or something
Yeah,
like
well,
that
when
to be
Bumblebee
like.
came out, and design-wise,
Yeah.
they struck a really good balance because it was
Yeah, they did,
smoother,
yeah.
and you could actually tell, different sequences of the body. It didn't look like just you threw a bunch of gears at a wall. With some
yeah,
wood.
no, it literally. I
depends
remember.
how you do complex, right? It really depends how you do it,
Exactly.
because you can put it all into one place, but you just need to know this is where my eye is looking, right, at
Yeah.
every moment.
It's
it
like
can be
photography
complex, but
almost.
you need to
Yeah.
know where the focus is.
It's like
Yeah.
photography almost, where it's like it should be a snapshot. Like
Yeah.
each one should be a snapshot for that moment.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
like from this frame, like if it's Transformers, I completely agree. It's like literally, I felt like it was just like a heap of
Mhm.
metal and scraps and gears, and then just suddenly there was like a person, and I was like, what happened?
You just have to be like amped up like ADHD kid to be like, what the fuck is going on? Oh my god.
There's like, I gotta see everything.
You're like
all at
looking
once.
around, and you're like, oh wow, that screw and that thing, and like you see everything. But if I take my grandma to the movies and take her to Transformers, she's gonna be like, what the shit is going on? It's like-
She's like skipping a beat
Yeah,
every
yeah.
5 seconds.
yeah,
like,
it's gonna be so much. She's gonna fall asleep.
yeah.
It is going to be overload. It's
It
true.
is gonna be, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I guess back to the full thing. Yeah, the standalone movies are great for DC.
Yeah, they're
Um,
amazing.
They just need someone to unify it all.
Mhm.
And Marvel right now, I feel like right from the get-go after Iron Man was just like literally, it's like they were sleeping in the same bed and they just all knew what they were going to do. Like I just mean like the Marvel team, right? Like
They're all
figuratively
sleeping in the
speaking-
same bed.
like figuratively speaking, it's like like
That's
figuratively,
not good.
yeah, figuratively sleeping. Figuratively speaking, it felt like they were living and breathing the same like life and air. It's like they were just literally like dorming together. They were like college buddies. Like it felt like that. Like they were like just always together to the point where it's like whoever was directing, whoever was producing, whoever was like acting or literally whatevering, like it was just all in sync. It was like it felt like the Marvel like cinematic studio was living and breathing at the same time. Like nobody was off one step. If you were walking, you were walking the same like leg at the same time type of situation with the same pace. And it sounds a little scary because I'm not trying to say like they're the same people. Well, what I essentially mean is just like they're just so in sync with it, and their plan is like ridiculous. Like I could
Yeah,
see
it is.
Shang-Chi as like a setup.
Yeah, for something else.
for
I mean,
something
it is a
else.
setup.
Yeah, it is. Like
They're gonna add him in.
I wasn't super happy with that movie, but like I will say like I'm looking forward to what they do with it in the future because I know that there's already a setup for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool.
That said, I don't want DC to try to do the same thing.
Definitely
I
not.
want them to burn all the connections they have to each other's movies and just do a good, like, we have another Batman film coming.
Right.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, that looks really good.
I liked a lot of it.
It
I
also
didn't like when Robert Pattinson was speaking as Batman. But
Yeah,
then the
yeah.
other part was
The
pretty
thing is, I'm a little like iffy about Robert Pattinson Batman. I don't know. Like it looks really cool and the aesthetic of it, and like the cars and the design and the suit looks like crazy. Yeah, everything like aesthetic wise, cinematography wise, it all looks really good. But then Robert Pattinson, I'm still like, all right, he's gonna totally sell me on the role. He's gonna totally make it work and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I guess some parts I do, but I don't know. I always pictured as Batman as like this big like dude, you know what I mean? And I don't really get that vibe too much from Robert Pattinson. He's an amazing actor, but
Maybe he's
Yeah.
better than Nightwing.
maybe, yeah,
Like
maybe,
is the
yeah.
talking about?
I
Okay,
do, yeah.
just making sure. Like if
I
you
was
guys
thinking of
don't
something
know,
clever to say.
Yeah.
So let's explain the
yeah.
whole sidekick Nightwing
You want to get it?
situation.
Yeah, you want to get
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Mike, like his smile was humongous. Like,
Yeah,
you could
yeah,
see it.
Nightwing.
His smile
Yeah.
was huge.
it just took me back. I have not heard anyone talk about Nightwing in a while for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, the first Batman, not first Batman, first Robin, Boy Wonder was this dude named Dick Grayson, and Batman took him under his wing after his parents got killed, after Robin's parents got killed, let him be Robin, and then eventually Robin grew up and he turned into his own dark, gritty superhero in another city called Nightwing. He wore a black suit and he had these two nightsticks with that he would fight crime with. And yeah, he wasn't as buff as Batman. I guess that's really the only point we're getting to.
Yeah.
That was the whole like.
Yeah.
That was the whole point essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fine with him being an emo Batman. I think Batman's a pretty emo character once you get down to it, regardless. So as Bruce Wayne, I think it would be fine. But there was a shot where he was screaming as Batman during some interrogation or something like that, and I laughed out loud. And then I went back to watch it again to see if maybe on the second time, and then I laughed again. So
it just reminds me of when Cillian Murphy, you know Cillian Murphy, right? He played Scarecrow in the first Batman.
Yeah,
and he's also Peaky Blinders, like that guy. Yeah. So there's a lot of buzz about him, but he actually auditioned for Batman first before he did Scarecrow. And he's a really great actor, but
Tom Hiddleston
all
over again.
He just didn't fit the role for Batman, and I could definitely see it's Cillian Murphy. You know what I mean? Like, it just he was definitely like a really cool Batman. I saw the audition tapes and stuff like that. I really liked it, but there was something that just he was very, very close. It was very, very close, but it still reminds me of like he's a little bit of a smaller guy, so I don't know. I never thought that would affect me that much, but now just looking at it, I'm like, man, Bruce Wayne's got to be like fucking built. I don't know.
Seriously.
Yeah. But Cillian Murphy almost got the part there. It's very, very close.
He's very good. And then that's why Nolan kept him on for. He had a cameo in every movie, every Batman.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. But it does. Robert Pattinson's Batman does remind me of Cillian Murphy's Batman. I don't know. The two of them seem very close for me. Yeah.
I think we're going to take a quick break now.
Yeah.
Before the camera runs out of footage.
We'll see you in a sec.
Yes.
All right.
Great.
Okay, we're back.
What's up, everybody?
I feel like we talk about Marvel a lot.
We do.
Yeah.
I think we should change topics. I think we're just fanatics. We're just fans. Sorry, not fanatics. We're just fans.
Honestly, I'm really not a fanatic. I've only seen maybe half of them, probably less.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't think I've like ever followed comics closely in my entire childhood. Like, the only reason I know Nightwing is because I read an article about it.
So you're more of a DC guy than you are.
I was like probably a
Marvel
business
guy.
article.
I used to be such a big Batman fan and a couple other superheroes.
Yeah.
I was a big Justice League, the animated series fan, and Justice League Unlimited, Batman, the animated series. Those were fantastic to me. So
never watched any of that. I've never been into like comics that like I wish I was sometimes because like I've never watched the Star Wars movies.
The animated Batman series were actually really good.
Those were amazing. Those are award-winning. Harley Quinn came from that series.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they were actually really good. Yeah, my cousin was like obsessed with those.
It's fantastic. They have this nice Art Deco sort of a style and aesthetic to it. There's this Clayface episode from the original Batman cartoon, the animated series. I'm pretty sure it's award-winning, and it is this beautiful Greek tragedy of a story just in the Batman universe. It's fantastic, and there's so much room for awesome Batman stories and this is something I'm kind of obsessed with, is a Batman story without Batman in it, or a Doctor Who story with very minimal Doctor Who, which is if you've seen the
it's as if he was like a side character.
Yeah.
You mean like Gotham and like...
I wanted Gotham to be this, where it would be following the cops that are on the ground of Gotham City day to day. Well, Batman's still active and doing his own thing, but like, what happens if you're a cop and you have all these horrific criminals and serial killers out on the street in this fictional Gotham City hellhole? But Batman's prioritizing Joker and Penguin. He's not going to help you every single time. So what does that look like? And how do you deal with the repercussions of Batman's crazy? And there's this sort of through line in the Batman comics where Batman being crazy escalates things. And his presence is what brings out more supervillains and more crazy, horrible baddies.
Yeah.
So then how do you...
what is his perspective almost?
Like that. Yeah, and what do all these side characters think? Or the psychiatrists who are populating the asylums and the hospitals, things like that. Things that we only get a glimpse of from the Batman-centric ones. I want a whole series of just that. Because honestly, that's more compelling to me at this point because we've had so many Batman iterations.
I was gonna say there's so many different. When you guys were talking about the new one, I was like, bruh, like
How many
times are gonna
Batman?
change? How many times are gonna change the characters? I'm like, it's like Spider-Man all over again. It's like,
Exactly.
Yeah, it wasn't until they had Into the Spider-Verse and Tom Holland as Spider-Man that I was like, they made up for the Tobey Maguire one. So.
Even Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire though, I still like it.
Yeah,
I'm such a big Sam Raimi fan and everything.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know those. I don't want to get into those movies anymore because
Again,
you keep talking about those
we
movies.
need to switch.
I do want to bring up actually
God.
A total switch away from this. I got invited to my first wedding. Not my wedding.
Oh no.
I got my own invitation to someone
Wait,
else's
same.
wedding. Oh really?
Yeah, recently. I got a call like literally
Yeah.
last week, I think.
You too.
Okay.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow, I don't know anyone getting married.
No, I was
Oh.
supposed to go to like 2 different weddings, and then COVID happened,
Oh, okay.
and yeah, there goes the rescinded invitation. I mean, like
I did
how
go to a
it
baby
was
shower,
happening.
which was almost like a wedding, actually.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
How is it? Did you like explode something that turned into blue or pink?
They did that, but it was also like crazy. Like the scale of it was just like next
seriously?
level. Yeah.
The baby was huge.
Yeah.
Yo, wait.
Yo, the baby was huge. It wasn't even born yet. It was still in the stomach. But yeah,
It came out.
the mother
11
was
pounds.
huge. No, no, but yeah.
My cousins apparently were all born at around 10 pounds.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wait, what about you?
I was around 8, which is really big enough.
Oh really?
Yeah, but they were all like 10, 10, 10. It was like 3
Oh
of them.
my god. How
I
about
was
your
like,
brother?
damn. I think my brother's a little smaller. I don't remember
Oh, okay.
specifically. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, these aren't the details I remember.
Yeah. I know. I was born really small too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Like about like 5. No.
Wait, seriously?
Actually, I don't even know.
Darren's like,
I'm just
just
throwing,
20,
just
just
throwing
20.
a number out there. Yeah.
I don't remember. It was my first day.
I think I was about. Wait, I think I
remember.
was about 5. Though.
I just opened my eyes.
Yeah. And I looked at the scale when I got out. It said 5.
He
Right
goes
next
like,
to
my
me.
life is over.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I think it was about 5.
That's crazy. Mike's like,
But sorry. What
dumbass.
about your weddings? Sorry, I totally interrupted you.
Oh yeah.
It's not
it
my
just
wedding yet.
Yeah.
Feels like a milestone a little bit because it's not
Okay.
my family getting invited. It is me specifically getting invited.
Just you. Oh wow.
Just me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a friend that you know.
Yeah. It's actually someone from one of the video shoots that I'm doing.
Oh wow.
They liked me so much that it's kind of like a low key wedding sort of a thing.
Okay.
So I think
Only
they
inviting
felt
like 5
okay.
people and that kind of thing
Yeah.
on the cliff.
I think it's the opposite.
Okay.
On the cliff.
In Malibu.
Yeah.
If anyone wants out, they can do it. The cliff's
Yeah.
right there.
Damn, that's
Guys.
crazy.
Dude, if they have cold
Never seen
feet,
it.
perfect.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's more of a. It was a low key wedding in terms of cost, so it's super casual and just anyone they sort of knew or was okay being around they could invite.
Oh, was it part of like the church thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
I did
that's
a
awesome.
church shoot with someone there.
Nice.
Very nice.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, mine is college friends.
College friends getting what?
Getting married.
Yeah.
They're like older than us, but
Wow.
I mean, I completely agree with what Mike just said. I feel like it's a milestone. I was just thinking, like, I can't believe a year ago I was complaining about how much homework I have to do and like these
And then
finals
you
that I
got
have.
these friends getting married.
Yeah, friends getting married. I'm like trying to figure out my own like insurance. I have to think about like putting money into a 401k and Roth IRA, and I'm like, oh my goodness gracious me! Like,
Crazy.
I could never imagined that this was gonna be me.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then like working, and then like talking to everybody else around me about work, including like my friends from college. So it's like beforehand you'd be like, yeah, like last week was a lot of fun, and we went to like I don't know, like Cornell or something, like went hiking, right? Into becoming, yeah, like, you know, I had this project that I was supposed to do, and it was like, it's like all that like that business talk now, which is kind of unfortunate to some degree, but at the same time it's like understandable. It's like it's growing up, I guess. And we're all in that like that part of life where it's like, now we have to work and we need to pursue our passions, and it's like, do you want to stay at this company for the rest of your life? Like, is this what you want to do, right? And it's like those questions, because I talk to people who are like, bye, I'm dipping out because like I realize it's not my calling. Like when it comes to like accounting, for example, right? And they're like, we're switching to marketing because like I want to be more creative or something like that. Yeah. So it's like one of those situations.
Yeah, I know I just listened to Tim Ferriss podcast. The latest episode is all about podcasting and how to grow a podcast. So
really?
super meta now that we're talking about it on our podcast. But one of the points he made was about, don't think like you have to do the show that you start forever. Just for him, he started the Tim Ferriss show. He said, I'm going to commit to 6 episodes. Then I'm going to check in with myself. Then I'm going to do another 50 or 100. Then I'm going to check in with myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in terms of staying with a company or going through certain life chapters, whatever it may be, probably a good policy to do it there as well. Because if you don't set those markers for yourself, then either A, you never check in with yourself and then the years fly by. Or the opposite, you're constantly checking in, constantly questioning left and right if you were doing the right thing, and then that can drive you crazy. That can lead to a lot of fatigue.
Yeah.
Same thing, not just with career stuff, but life stuff. Not just life stuff, but happiness specifically.
A lot of mental, emotional duress if you just keep like questioning everything you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I do think in terms of happiness, sometimes, there's a lot of voices saying that, oh, don't think about consumerism and building too much money and greed and stuff like that. Think about happiness and what makes you fulfilled and happy. And that's true, and I think that's in the right direction, but we also can't do that too much. Because if you get so fixated on it, sometimes we'll romanticize it and we'll have different concepts of what it should be when it's maybe not as a sustained sense of happiness as we like to think.
Yeah.
And then we pressure ourselves to feel happy, and then it makes it harder to be happy.
And do you really know what makes you happy? I don't know.
Yeah, and also what is happy.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people are just like, that fleeting feeling is happiness, but I feel like it's more than just a fleeting feeling.
Yeah, you're right. There's definitely, I heard someone say that happiness is by definition ephemeral or fleeting, and it's something that comes in a moment and then it'll immediately start dissipating. That's just the nature of the emotion. But I think you're right. There's some low-key version of happiness that is definitely more sustained, and that comes from a certain place that you are in life or in your relationships or something like that, or your understanding of yourself that can just underline everything.
It's like what Naval was talking about, right? The happiness and peace, and those two kind of being together, and then the happiness is basically like peace in motion. So I guess what you're aiming for is trying to be peaceful, right? And trying to be at peace, but then also that turns into happiness when you're doing something and you're in the moment, and then that gives you that feeling at that time.
Maybe, I don't know.
No. I think I agree with that. I feel like it's like contentment. I think is like another great word that we could be using instead.
Because you're not always gonna feel that happiness feeling all the time 24/7. Like, it doesn't happen that way. I was listening to the Andrew Huberman podcast. I think he was like a sleep sort of dopamine scientist, and he did a lot of research on dopamine and how it goes up and down, and everyone thinks that they're going to get that high all the time, but especially after like a big win or something like a big milestone that you hit, he always says to make sure that the next couple of days you kind of just don't do anything as drastic. Don't do anything that's going to be as big or try to one-up yourself constantly, because you need the up to go down sometimes and then come back up even higher. So you need that peak to just keep rising a little bit higher and higher and higher. So that's how you regulate it, because everyone's like dopamine fried nowadays. It's crazy. Like, you try to, I don't know, you scroll through your phone and then you keep getting these hits of like dopamine, but you're not actually feeling happy about it. It's just like enough to make you feel like, oh, okay, but you're not really like satisfied.
It's basically like you're constantly on something.
And you're trying to ride that high, but you can't do it for that long. You know what I mean? You need to experience like those low points and you really like feel that. And then the dopamine just gets reset. You know what I mean? Everything just comes back down to normal, and then you can do crazy stuff again after that.
I agree with that. I feel like it's like life isn't meant to be lived in constant, I guess, quote unquote bliss. Right? I think it's more like it's meant to be lived in a way where like you're constantly building up and you're constantly becoming better, and you're constantly like seeing more and more and more of the world around you in like a different light, right? But then also like it's the contentment in the things that you're doing.
Yes Theory also had this episode
probably
about it too.
I think so too.
They were saying that they were releasing so many episodes at some point that they were just like, okay, tomorrow we're visiting this girl in South Africa, and then the next day we're gonna do strangers going to another country, and then the next day we're gonna go and ride a jet ski and stuff like that. And then they were like, it's so crazy that they didn't even get time to like comprehend any of the things that were happening in their lives. It was just the whole entire week was just craziness. You know, like Monday to Friday, it was just all these things happening, and you know, they didn't really get time to like sit in what happened and really appreciate
and process
what happened, to them. So that's another idea that I've been trying to sit with.
I feel like I've come to that like realization. Sometimes I realize like the trips I'm the happiest on are the ones where it's relaxed and I'm able to just like really lull, like obviously still do things, like don't just like sit there and do nothing, but it's like you're sitting there and you go do items, but then you also have time to just kick back, relax, think about what your day was like without having to like really physically actually like put out the work to think about it. But then at the same time like be able to process however you process and compartmentalize.
Because if you don't get that process time daily though or regularly, and then you go on that trip and then you have time to relax, that's when the existential anxiety starts coming that you did not acknowledge
all
and
things start
not
coming up,
prepared for, and then everything comes at once. And you're not really ready for it. I was thinking about travel a lot too. Were you going to say something?
No. Okay. Yeah, you got your thing.
I was thinking about travel because a lot of people seem to have that as a goal. And then I think, well, when you go to travel, what do a lot of people do? You do touristy things. They say, I want to see the world. And then you see it. And I wonder why we see that as fulfilling. I wonder if it is as fulfilling as we think it is. I'm thinking about how the experience would change if you go on your own versus with a group, or maybe with one partner.
I agree with you to some extent, because I feel like travel, when it's so like beat for beat planned out, you go with like those Chinese tour buses and stuff like that. Like, it's so like mechanical, and to some degree I'm like, I don't know if I like just going, you know, like, oh, this time to this time we're going to see this touristy thing, and then this time this, you know what I mean? Like, and yeah, exactly. And then I saw what Yes Theory was doing with it, and I was like, yeah, this is totally different. This is like a different experience, because you're meeting the people there, you're experiencing their culture, you know what I mean? You're having these new experiences that are unplanned, and you're going down different pathways that you didn't know were there before you got there. So that's kind of what I like personally for trips and planning and stuff like that. I don't really like to plan too much, just like general stuff.
I think I'm the same way. I would rather a general gist than have everything be planned out. Like when I was at like Maine with my family over the summer, right? I just kind of like generally outlined. I was like, this is like where the downtown area is. This is where the lighthouses are. This is where we're sleeping. These are some of the restaurants. Thoughts. And it worked out.
Literally
well.
everything is an adventure really well. With it. It comes with it too.
Yeah, I remember like my brother hates seafood, right? And so there's like this one restaurant that we just happened to go by, and we're like, oh, it's like duck fat. And then I like just pulled it up on like Yelp. And I was like, oh, I think I saw this before. It's pretty good. And so we decided just to sit down and get it. And it turned out to be like one of the best meals we had there. And then when we headed up to Acadia, we went to like a brewery randomly on the last day that we were there in Acadia National Park. And then literally like, I will like honestly tell you, completely blew my mind. Like my expectations were nothing. I was just like, oh, there's like a brewery. Let's go beer tasting or something, right? Go beer tasting. Beers like number one are amazing. Atlantic Brewing Company. I'm shout you out right now. Really good. But then number two, like where it was, there was like this barbecue pit spot. So good.
Yeah.
$50 for like a meal that's enough for like 6 people.
Wow.
Like the cost and like crazy. You know, like the cost for the food and the quality of the food for like, and also the beer that was there too. It was just like what in the world just happened? And I remember leaving, my brother just couldn't stop talking about it, because you know he hates seafood. So it's like for us to go to Maine and for him to get some barbecue, he's like, God bless.
Yeah.
Like God bless. And it was also like really cost effective. We got beers there too.
Wow.
And so I think I agree with you. It's one of those random situations where you just run upon it. Because we weren't planning on going. I just said, hey, like look at that road. There's like a sign there.
Yeah.
And we just went. We just literally just went.
Yeah. So it's definitely that spontaneity in adventure that you experience when you're out there. You know what I mean? Where it's like in your hometown, maybe you'll get that, but not really so much if everybody knows you and you already kind of know where things are. You don't really have like those spontaneous experiences where you need to be in those situations to make those things happen.
Yeah. Or if you already know the culture around you, even if it's something you've never seen before, you kind of get the vibe maybe.
Yeah.
Situated within.
Yeah. I like how it keeps you on your feet, though. You know what I mean? I like what it does in terms of, like, you having to adapt like quickly and learn quickly.
Yeah, and be flexible and also ask for help because talking to people is not a bad thing.
It's like an open world game without the mini map on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Riding my horse around, and going wherever.
When I went to Hong Kong, I like dipped by myself one day, and I literally didn't know what the hell I was doing, nor where I was going.
Oh, really?
Just there, and I made it back home safe, so it was like one of those situations. Yeah,
definitely.
You are here. That's true.
Yeah. I'm alive right now.
Did not get kidnapped.
Did not get kidnapped or anything.
Damn.
It was not.
And it also leads to like a lot
Sorry,
of.
what?
It also leads to a lot of like funny stories. I feel like.
Sorry.
Wait, what did you say? Wait, what did you?
Next time, he's not gonna be here anymore.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Inexplicably.
I said I wasn't taken away by the Chinese government.
Oh my god.
When I went to Hong Kong, the border between Hong Kong and Guangzhou, like the Guangdong area, like back a couple years ago, like freshman year of college. Yeah. They asked me for my Chinese name. I was like, bro, I'm an American. My name is Richard Chow.
Yeah.
Like, there is no other name. And then they're like, yeah, but like you have to have one. I'm like, why? Because I look Chinese. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I was like, I never felt like I was being discriminated against in China before.
Yeah.
Until that moment. And then it was a funny.
Oh my gosh.
So I gave him my Chinese name.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the legal one. It was just like one my grandpa came up with.
Yeah. And then what? It was just.
And they made me fingerprint like my entire hand.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm like, damn. I guess I'm in their system now. Anytime I go back, they're just gonna be like,
dude, they're gonna be, that's the guy.
That's the guy.
Yo.
No, the name is Richard Chow is blank because like he didn't have a Chinese name.
Yeah, you should have gave him some random Chinese.
No, I gave him my Chinese name.
You gave him your
but
actual
it was like
Chinese
there's
name.
no like it wasn't like on anything. It's not on a certificate of any sort. There's no files that have my Chinese name.
Shoot.
It's just been told to me. I know how to write it. And that's it. Yeah, it was one of those situations. Yeah. So if I disappear next podcast episode,
you know what happened. Yeah.
I was
but travel though.
Yeah, I mean,
are you more open to it now?
To traveling?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always
Darren and I
open
are
to traveling.
Yeah.
Say that one more time. Oh my! I got these headphones in.
you're fine.
Yeah.
I said Darren and I are convincing you.
Yeah.
But I was kidding.
You
I was
gotta
kidding,
travel,
kidding,
Mike.
yeah.
You gotta get out.
I'm down to travel.
Yeah.
He's like, I just don't want to do touristy things.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I agree with that.
You don't want to see the
Darren and I
Eiffel Tower. You don't want to see like the Louvre.
Yeah, what schmuck made that?
Yeah.
I mean, like it's
the metal.
it's like
yeah.
I don't want to go to France and like go to the spots where the restaurants are bumping. I want to go to France and go to the spots
that
where,
nobody
like,
knows
nobody
about.
knows about.
Yeah.
I hit this little ass cafe and like nobody's in there, and there's just like old lady serving coffee. I want to be in that shop. I want to be in that area, and I want to be sitting there and I don't know, just enjoying the view.
There's also something about like partying with like I don't know foreigners and stuff like that. I just feel like it's a different experience. Like
when
I don't know, Korea and like
Korea was
yeah,
but that was really weird just because I didn't like the smokers, so Darren knows this, but it was so funny. So we kind of went. We're like a lot of us. Some of us are sober, some of us are not.
Yeah.
And then I was like standing next to some of my friends, and then basically like there was this girl who came up to us, like came near us, and she had a cigarette like this, right? And she was smoking, and it's just like building smoke into me because I'm kind of taller. So I just went like this, and I went like that.
That was in Korea.
It was in Korea.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was like super obvious like to her that I was annoyed by it, and then she walked away. And I was like talking in obnoxious English because I was like, "Man, these smokers, bro, can you
these are crazy.
Yeah.
Who is this right here?
Yeah. Do you see them?" And it's like she's standing right next to me, so I was like, I don't care.
"Oh man,
damn." Sounds kind of flirty. If you do that to me, I'm like, oh, this guy's like, he wants my attention.
Oh, like if they blow smoke into you, like
oh no.
Or either way.
Dude, I want to take her cigarette, drop it on the ground, and just stomp on it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Look her dead in the eyes as you do.
As I do it, yeah, I would. I really would.
Would you take that as like a sign of flirting?
I feel like what Richard was doing, I might be like, oh, he's flirting with me.
No.
It depends how you were doing it.
If you were the girl and Richard was there and he was blowing
if I were some mindless girl, yes.
When I just mindlessly flirt with people without realizing it by going,
yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
If someone
Smoking
came
was
up and
like
blow
a
your
flirty, attractive sort of a thing back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Still pretty big in Korea.
Until lung cancer.
Yeah. Until lung cancer.
Darren's like, until lung cancer strikes.
Yeah.
It sucks though. I feel like smoking really is undeniably cool. and especially me looking at writers and doing their thing at the keyboard or whatever, or on
They
typewriter.
have like a cigarette. They sit back.
Exactly. Yeah.
They come forward and they go.
Fast forward to the podcast where we're all smoking. Yeah. You just take that.
We have cigars. We have like cigars.
Yeah.
Just like the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh no, they were doing weed, right?
Oh, just
Or did they do cigars?
I thought it was cigars, right?
It might have been cigars too. But I feel
Okay.
like they probably lit
Yeah.
up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they did. With Elon, right?
Yeah, that would be nice.
I think so,
Okay.
with Elon.
Crazy.
I've never seen Elon look like that before. It's kind of
An audio
funny.
nightmare for you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Everybody listening right now is like, like
Yeah.
just spazzing out a little bit.
Whoa,
My
my right
ramp
ear.
up the audio. For that.
Yeah.
That's far right through.
No, we're just gonna add a car crash noise into it.
Yeah. What happened?
There's the one
Tire
PlayStation podcast where instead of like bleeping out curse words, they would add a cat sound.
Oh.
Like that. Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Like that.
What cat, is your
Wait.
cat okay?
No.
What kind of cat is that?
It's striking. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know when it went like
Wait, the word is what?
it's like striking you. The cat
Striking?
you.
Oh, striking?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were trying to say shrieking, and you said shrieking.
No.
I got really
Striking. I
confused.
said striking.
Stroke.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was like,
shrieking. What?
Shrieking?
Shrieking? Like the sound shrieking?
No, shrieking. Like when someone shrieks. It's like a yelp. It's like,
Yeah. That's why I said the sound.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like onomatopoeia.
He's like, no, not the
Oh,
sound.
sorry. Yeah. Yes. The sound.
Yeah.
The onomatopoeia. Word.
Yeah.
Sorry, I brought up the cats. Just forget.
Yeah.
Just forget that.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Anyone's ever played the drinking game Piccolo? There's one where it's like one of the things prompts where it's like you have to I think add like a dog sound to the end of every like sentence you say. So it'd be like, "Hey Darren, woof woof," and then one of the people that I was playing with once, he went, wait, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting it. But it wasn't woof woof. He was like, no, he was like,
Arf.
I think yup.
Oh,
Or
really?
something like that.
Yup.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, turn to the Avatar, hang up in here.
Yeah.
I don't remember specifically. I just remember it was like, not woof woof, and I was like,
Yeah.
what is going on? Because he said it, we all looked at him like, wait, pause. That is not a dog sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just reminded me when you're talking about cat sounds. Weird.
That's great.
Yeah, animals are weird.
Yeah.
Not us humans, just the animals themselves.
Yeah.
That's the American view. It's not us.
Yeah.
And when a dog or a cat like kind of sees a human like making noises that are similar to theirs, they're like, "What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?"
I've been like binging those cat TikToks where like they play the sound from the ancient Egypt sound, and then they're like
Oh, their
start
eyes get larger. Oh,
Yeah.
I only saw one. I don't have TikTok.
Yeah.
I only saw one of those like videos on YouTube, I think.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like so crazy. I mean, it doesn't work on every cat, but like some of them, they just like stop, and then their pupils just
Wait,
like, dilate.
I
like
remember
this.
I actually remember seeing the cucumber ones though. I thought that was hilarious.
Which one?
I think it was on Vine though. Like you drop a cucumber next to a cat and it goes like, "Woo-cha," and like it's like
leaps away.
Or
Yeah.
or like it'll open the door and then come around the door and there's a cucumber and it'll just like explode off the ground because it's just like, "What are you?"
Yeah.
There's smoke and fur, and that's it.
Yeah, no, seriously, it actually looks like this. I think like their tail comes up, all their like
Yeah,
fur
I've
stands
seen
on
them.
one end,
Yeah.
their claws come out, and they're like
Actually,
hopping.
watching cats in slow motion is kind of crazy because it's like
Insane.
they contort in different ways that you never would have
Yeah.
seen like normally.
They're like the ultimate balancers, I think, or like the ultimate parkour, like kings and queens.
Yeah. There's this-
man.
I'm gonna bring it back to Kevin Smith. There's this Kevin Smith anecdote about
Yeah.
the dude who was gonna write the movie for the Nicolas Cage Superman film, and this dude, like, he was someone's hairdresser, and then he just became a film producer for
Mhm.
kind of no reason, just because he was in the right place or whatever. And he was just obsessed with getting a spider into the movie or something weird like that. And
Yeah.
and just a running joke throughout this Kevin Smith storytelling bit was how he'd say, "Oh, do you know anything about spiders?" And you go, "No." And then he goes, "They're the fiercest killers in the animal kingdom." And that was just him. It was like him trying to inject animal kingdom shit into the Superman movie at every single stage. He's like, oh yeah, it should be
What?
Superman fighting polar bears with the Fortress of Solitude. Like, why?
Superman.
Did you know anything about polar bears? They're the fiercest.
So it
killers in
was supposed to be an
polar-
ongoing joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a running joke, but it was a true story, which is crazy. And this
really?
dude is the guy who they said, yeah, you should make the Superman movie. But then it
Damn.
never got made, so there is some logic there, I guess.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But anyway, I feel like we brought it back full circle, kind of.
Sort
Kevin
of.
Smith, who we talked about before. I think we can jump on to our word game and try to end it off here.
Alright, let's do it.
Do you want to start us off?
Yeah. I feel like I forgot what I said last week, so I'm gonna say I
M,
Not
A
big.
fat.
Why is it big fat?
This is it, the last word. You got it.
No, it's not. It's not ginormous.
Wait, no, there's too many
Big
descriptive.
fat ginormous.
No, there's too many
Yeah.
descriptive words,
You
bro.
gotta do 3.
That's
You just keep
no.
comma. You just keep going.
That's not how it
All
works.
synonyms for
You
big.
gotta finish it. Finish it.
No. You did this to me.
You got it. You got it. One
Come
last
on.
word.
Damn, dude. Spider.
Period. That's it.
Really?
Nice.
Yo, okay.
We'll save you from the
Yeah, we'll
another
save you.
round.
We'll save you.
Alright.
See you guys next week.
All right.